911, what's your emergency?
I'm gonna fucking shoot them all, you hear me? I'm gonna fucking do it. This time I'm gonna do it for real. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna fucking shoot every goddamn bitch in that school. I'm gonna fucking hate them all fucking Stacy's. I'm gonna fucking kill them all. I'm so angry.
Okay, stay where you are. We're gonna send someone over right now.
Hello? Yeah, this is Spit Roast HQ. What's the situation? Alright. Yeah. We'll be right there. Alright. Doug.
What?
Doug, wake up. Come on.
Huh?
It's an emergency. Come on.
I can't go again. You're insatiable.
It's not that.
What do you want?
We have to spit roast.
Spit roast.
Yeah, they need us. We have to spit roast.
Spit roast. I don't want to go to school.
If you get up, I'll let you do that thing you really like.
All right. Let me get dressed.
Amazing. Fucking amazing.
God, people are so stoked to listen to them. God, they're going wild. Don't want to get spit roasted. Okay, you guys, come on. Come on. All right. Okay. All right. Oh, God, I love a good applause.
So, I hate to do this right out of the fucking gate, but that was beautiful. That was a fucking beautiful intro.
Thank you. It's okay. We can break the fourth wall. So when you sent me your clips, I rarely get that uncomfortable as, you know, I had my headphones in and just hearing a man whisper in my ear telling me I'm insatiable did not evoke the feelings you might think it would, but all right. What do you want to do, Doug?
I guess we can wrap this up. I don't think it's going to get any better than that intro, so.
Have you heard about the Ernst & Young news about their sexist presentation?
No.
Do you know who Ernst & Young are?
No, sounds like a college in the East.
No, it's a big accounting company. Huge. Very established in the UK and shit. Doug, I'm going to mention some attributes, and I want you to tell me if you think they are feminine or masculine. All right?
All right.
Affectionate.
So, effeminate.
Cheerful.
Effeminate.
Childlike.
Effeminate.
Flatterable. I'll list a few. Flatterable, gentle, gullible. How do you feel about that one?
Effeminate.
Shy, soft-spoken, understanding, warm, yielding. So apparently Ernst & Young, which is this gigantic accounting company, gave a presentation to its women employees and told them how they should act around men, and they handed out a score chart with these attributes on them, along with a couple of male attributes, and they asked the women to rate themselves. So on the feminine side, we have things like gullible and loves children, loyal, shy. On the masculine side, we have acts as a leader, aggressive, ambitious, analytical, competitive, defends one's beliefs, dominant, forceful, has leadership abilities, makes decisions easily, self-reliant, self-sufficient, willing to take a stand, willing to take risks. And this is a presentation an actual company gave. And I was having a whole lot of fun reading this today. Because I think...
So I was just going to say, a couple of those, you know, in my career, if I was to describe somebody as, yeah, you're really going to like him, he knows how to take charge. Mm-hmm. Everybody would rally around that and say, well, great, you know, bring him onto the team or whatever. If I was to say, yeah, she'd be a good employee, she really knows how to take charge, everybody would think, oh, so she's a bitch.
Really? So how true is that in your environment? I don't know how many female employees or coworkers you have, but they always say bossy is an insult. When a woman gets called bossy, men don't get called bossy. They just, we say they take leadership, but when it's a woman, she gets called bossy or bitchy.
When I was working at that Fortune 100 company, and so that was a completely different environment than where I'm at now, but the females that were in positions higher or equal to than mine, you almost got the impression that they were overcompensating. The ones that were successful in that company. And I'm not, maybe they had to. Fuck, I don't know what their struggles were to get to their position. But
well, it
yes,
includes sitting through presentations like this where they are told they need to wear short skirts and makeup to look attractive for the men at the office, apparently, was one of the bullet points on the presentation.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I know that it wasn't uncommon to associate somebody that was a female in a higher position as being a bitch. I mean, that was just how it was.
Yeah, but is that just because she's a woman? I mean, I'm sure you have employees who think you're a big fat bitch, right?
I know they used a lot of names to describe me, but I don't think they would ever call me a big fat bitch. Let me rephrase that. They may do that. I just haven't heard it.
Well, there you go. So I don't know. I feel this is obviously terribly fucking sexist. If I was the brother, father, son of any of these women, I would be incredibly pissed off if somebody handed, a female that I love this card and said, how much of a bitch are you really? Just how effeminate, how much of a second-class person are you that should be dominated by us? Rate yourself from 1 to 5.
I think once you're, that's fine if you wanna say that, and you want to say, at our company at Spit Roast Incorporated, we will never talk to female employees like that. But truth be told, when you're in the business world, if it's predominantly ran by men and you want to succeed, these are some tips to help you do that. I mean, you can say, don't do it. Don't follow these guidelines and you won't succeed, or buck the system and you won't succeed, or follow the tried and true and you'll succeed. Getting into a situation where, you start falling into we know it's not right, but we can either ignore it or do something about it. Mm-hmm. I really don't even understand your stance on it. Like if my daughter was to get something like that from her company, I would say, well, unfortunately, it's true. If you want to succeed at that company, this is obviously what they're promoting. So your best bet is to leave that company.
Right. No, it's not company specific. I would be angry if someone gave my daughter a sheet that says, you're a woman, you must be gullible, which is just a fucking insult. That's not an attribute. That isn't like, I'm all on board for things like, women are more nurturing, they're more kind. I completely agree. But when you say you're more gullible, you're fucking, might as well just call her retarded, right? I mean, that's the same thing, and I wouldn't want my daughter to work at a company where they just call her names.
So going back to that list that you said, is that really what they said? Is that that it was an attribute? I thought it was, does the word gullible, is it effeminate or is it a masculine adjective?
I should have shown you this beforehand, but you didn't want me sharing my show notes. I put the photo in our private chat. It literally is a column of feminine attributes that includes the word gullible, and masculine attributes which include all the cool shit you would expect from Rambo.
All right. Masculine, feminine score sheet.
Eager to soothe hurt feelings is feminine, of course.
So the way I'm looking at this is
athletic.
Everything that's on the left has no place in business.
Understanding could well, I guess, yeah. You're not wrong. If you truly are a ruthless businessman an oil man like Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood, then yes, there's no place for any of this in business. But then that's the insulting part, right? I mean, this sheet is basically saying, hey, look, there's no place for you in business.
No, there's no place for these traits in business. Like I don't, if I was looking at a resume and I had to hire somebody and his keywords were he was affectionate, cheerful, and childlike, I don't want this fucking person on my fucking team. Picturing some guy with the beanie and the propeller on it sitting in the fucking corner. And get the fuck out of here.
Oh man, don't you have any beanbags, dude? These chairs aren't eco-friendly, brah. Come on, man. Yeah, so, but this was given to women and they were meant to score from 1 to 5 if they are childlike, or how childlike.
Were they asked to score themselves on all these?
Yes. So that's a fucked up part. I don't think it's okay to immediately imply that every single woman must be gullible and childlike and stupid and compassionate for no reason, eager to soothe hurt feelings.
So I think you're looking at this wrong. So if you look at this, the way I'm looking at this is they were asked to score themselves both in work and outside of work. And, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. You know,
Really?
if you hand this to a woman and say, because these are typically feminine and masculine characteristics, that, I mean, I don't even know that that's up for dispute, other than maybe a couple of them athletic, whatever. I don't know. But if you say, okay, score yourself as being childlike at work versus not at work, you know, so, I mean, I could go through all this and a lot of them, the affectionate score at work, mine would be 1. Score not at work, probably 4. Cheerful, 1 at work. And then outside of work, maybe a 2, I guess. I don't know. But I could go down this and I'm going to have different numbers based on whether I'm at work versus not at work. Just like the aggressive. My aggressive at work is much higher than my aggression at home.
Do you feel more athletic when you're at work? Because that's one of the attributes on here. I don't think they were meant to segregate these as much as that score sheet might imply. I don't see how are you going to be more athletic at work? You know, I clock
I'm not
in.
The one that came,
I clock in and I get a six pack.
I'm not the one that came up with this, but I'm not the one that came up with this. I mean, that's what it says. Your score at work versus your score not at work.
Yeah, but I'm saying this doesn't make sense. You're saying this would be okay. I don't think you would be happy with this if it was the other way around. If a woman handed you this sheet and said, rate yourself, and on the left it says, cool people or something, and it's all the attributes you don't have, and then on the right it says, fat faggots, and it just says 600 pounds, loser, is easily scared, doesn't have good relationships, no friends, you know, all those attributes, and they told you, okay, rate yourself, Tubby, 1 to 5. How much of a loser are you?
I think you can't dispute feminine and masculine traits are separate.
Of course, no, I don't. But I think things like gullible aren't feminine. No, that's not a feminine trait. They throw in some traditionally feminine things like being more nurturing or soft-spoken with, what is it, loyal. Not really. To who?
So that part of it, I agree with you. Gullible is not shouldn't be defined as a feminine trait. I know just as many stupid guys, but then,
right.
but you go down to like understanding. So what you could reverse this and say that the trait understanding doesn't apply to men. What? So you're saying men are just fucking Neanderthals that come in swinging?
Okay, fair enough. I'm looking at this list, but still flatterable. Femininity is mentioned under the column feminine, which is a bit redundant. Tender, soft, shy.
Well, masculinity is under masculine. Yeah, it's interesting. I'd like to see the rest of this if you have it. Maybe not right now. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I can send it to you later. But the rest of the presentation included things like have a good haircut, look fit, don't address men face to face, don't flaunt your body,
don't make eye contact with me for sure. That's one of the ways to go.
That's because you're autistic. Don't flaunt your body. Sexuality scrambles the mind for men and women, said the document, supposedly. Yeah, this is not okay, man. I'd pull my daughter out of that company immediately. Being the patriarch of my family, and obviously I get to make the decisions for her life, I tell her to quit on the spot.
So I'm not sure that I heard anything wrong in that. Don't flaunt your body. Don't sexualize yourself. Why is that bad? Why is it bad to tell your daughter not to use her body to get ahead?
Because, Doug, nobody ever has to tell you not to flaunt your body. It's just condescending to say. It implies that just this person must be a whore if you have to tell. It's, you know that shit that they do to young men where they say, we must teach boys not to rape? And it's the most condescending shit because all you can think is, like, do you think anyone at any point taught us that rape is okay? You don't have to teach us not to. And this just feels like that is basically telling women not to be whores.
There's a lot of companies, though, Kaya, that roll things out like this as grounds to. So assuming that somebody in that company dressed unprofessionally, as they would say, they would roll something out like this so they could have groundwork to do something to that person to, come down on them for the way they dress. And that is not uncommon. You can have somebody in. What's that?
Those are guidelines. You tell your employees how they should be dressing, but you don't at the same time say, don't be a childlike bimbo.
When you're moving to dismiss somebody, especially in those types of positions, you have to have groundwork where you can say, yes, we rolled this out. We did this for all the employees. We had them rate themselves in this case. It's just kind of interesting how this thing came out. I could be all wrong about this, but whatever. I guess I don't care.
So would you ever risk giving this presentation at your company?
Would I risk?
I just don't see it happening. Maybe in the 1950s, someone may have been bold enough to openly simply tell women to be feminine and give up, but
no, that I wouldn't. Of course not. This type of score sheet I would be okay with, but there would have to be some changes made to it. Like just saying that only guys can be good leaders. I would probably have to phrase that a little differently.
Yeah. Women's brains absorb information like pancakes, soak up syrup, so it's hard for them to focus. The attendees were told, men's brains are more like waffles. They're better able to focus because the information collects in each little waffle square. So...
See, that changes things a little bit. Women, so he got up there and said, men can learn and women can't.
So, Doug, this is a company that, according to this website, $36.4 billion in global revenue and 270,000 employees. Was still recovering from public Me Too accusations. So somebody accused these people of being sexist and such, discriminating against women. And their idea of a good bailout plan was to just call women idiots.
Yeah.
This is...
So if you would have led with that...
Give this presentation?
No, not that. If you would have led with that information, it would have probably changed it for me a little bit.
I like that you look like the asshole now.
Wow, you held out a key piece of information. Women have pancake brains.
I know, I'm teasing you. This is baffling to me, how people like this are like Teflon. I do not know how they get away with it. I see this sometimes. I've told you before about Hardin, this guy that we know, that we've once talked to, who believes that women are subhuman scum, who should be owned like animals, whom should be
you imagine Hardin
should
giving
be able
that
to legally
presentation?
rape them. Huh?
Can you imagine Harden giving that presentation?
Oh, absolutely. He would stutter like a motherfucker, but he would agree with every single word. He might take out some of the more positive traits in that, like kind. He'd tell you that women aren't in fact kind, they're cold bastards, but I do not know how people who genuinely, he uses his real name. I'm not going to dox him here, but he uses his real name, his real phone number, his real street address. It's all publicly available on his Skype. He has his work and his home number listed on his Skype. You can Google it and you can find his address. And he's out there talking about how women need to be raped like chattel slaves, and somehow he goes undetected, under the radar.
I think it's because
from his job. He has a
people don't
Facebook
take him seriously.
Do you think?
Yeah, I don't take him seriously. I mean, I don't think he's anything more than a functional retard. The one time that I talked to him, I know that he has a pancake brain.
But man, we now live in this age of Me Too, where if you have a bad date with someone, that's rape, and you must be destroyed. It doesn't matter how famous you are, how unfamous, it doesn't matter. You could be a world-famous, world-touring comedian, or you could be a little indie video game developer who literally just has 20 downloads on his fucking video game. If somebody says, that guy once looked at my ass, now his life has to be over. I don't know how people like Harden go undetected, or this company, which is a $36.4 billion company, gets away with doing this presentation. Nothing's gonna happen to them. This is literally just a fucking article on Huffington Post. They don't have any sway.
Did they say how long ago this presentation came out?
No, not well. It says in Hoboken, New Jersey in June 2018. So last year. And if anything, the peak, the zenith of the Me Too hoopla, these people give a presentation calling women animals, for all intents and purposes, saying, well, a human can learn, but dogs, their brains are different, except they were talking about women.
They have the pancake brain of a 3-year-old infant.
Just
you
imagine
don't know any
that
better.
fucking
You got
company.
a pancake brain.
Fuck. So do you quit? What do you do? If you're a woman in that company, you've now invested, let's say you're trying to build a career, just like you have at your company right now. You have invested your life into that company, right? You would be bummed if for no reason you now just had to quit on your own, just leave. What do you do if you're in that situation?
Oh yeah, me personally, I would leave. If they came out, let's say when I go back to work tomorrow, we have a meeting and they roll it out, the new guidelines that say people that are fat have pancake brains.
Do you not? It's on your mind if it's not your mind.
This fucking OMAD shit is, I'm going to stick with it and all that. But as soon as you said that women have brains like pancakes, I could start tasting the pancakes and the syrup. I'm so fucking hungry.
Okay, let's switch gears then. For those who don't know, Doug and I are doing a 1 meal a day challenge for 1 month. We are on the last 3 days. Give me an update, man. I am pathetic with it. I crave a lot of food still. You would think that after 27 days or 20, however many days it has been, it would get easier, but no, I still crave shit like mad, and then when my hour comes, I overcompensate and feel like shit.
Yeah,
you sent me that. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, you sent me that message the other day saying, you've been awfully quiet, or you cheating or whatever. And I just got to the point where it was every message that you and I were sending back and forth was just how fucking miserable we are. Like that doesn't help either one of us.
Yeah, well, venting can help a little. But I just noticed that you would usually, every single day, you would message me saying, fuck man, I'm having a hard time today. I might eat my secretary. And then for 2 days, you went completely dark on me. I didn't hear a word. I was thinking, what did he do? What hooker did he bury in the desert? This is suspicious. He should be bitching by now. It's lunchtime. He should have been offered 27 donuts by his coworkers by now. He usually says something.
No, you remember I told you Thursday I was traveling for work, and then Friday I took the day off.
Yeah.
So I didn't have all that free time when I was traveling. So there was a group of us, I think 8 of us together, and we were at a trade show, and then they said, "Well, we're going to go take off to go get lunch. You want to go with?" No. Are you sure? You don't want to come? No. So they all took off, and I just hung out at the trade show, and I'm like, well, fuck, I'm gonna go walk or something. My fucking stomach's going nuts. I'm fucking hungry. I still got like 6 hours before I can fucking eat.
Yeah.
Walking around this big fucking city, lost. I ended up walking somewhere about 6 miles for the day. I was beat.
Oh. Okay, so that's a problem with food addiction, or just liking unhealthy food. You do have to eat, and everybody else eats. It's not like any other addiction where at 12 p.m. on your lunch break, your coworkers try to convince you to slam a bottle of vodka or shoot heroin, right? You sure you don't want to snort any coke right now? You sure, Doug?
You know you like it. It'll make you feel better.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Wendy's. Snort some lines. Come on, bro. That doesn't happen. So if you're trying to quit drugs, it's easier for you, and everybody cheers you on. They say, "Holy shit, dude, you've been sober for a week. Good for you." But when it's food, people go, "Is that necessary? Are you really sure you want to miss out on the steak we're about to go eat? Come on,
can't you just not eat? Can't you just not eat as much?"
Right, so that's the other problem, is people who have no sympathy and simply say, well, stop being fat.
The thing that's fucked it up for me is the time that I chose to eat was what I would call my dinner time, so about 5 o'clock. And when situations like that arise, I would be okay with moving it up, eating at noon so I could go and get a nice free lunch. But I did not want to sit down with all my coworkers and then make a complete ass of myself, just grabbing everything, ordering 3 appetizers, and I'm going to eat, 2 entrees. Because that's what I do now, is I just go fucking crazy and start eating shit while I'm waiting to eat shit. When I'm cooking shit, I'm eating shit. And then I'm...
Yeah, man, so that's embarrassing. Like I told you yesterday, I went to a restaurant in the middle of the night, and all I can worry about is I'm going to look like a Wolverine on angel dust. People are going to look at me like a fucking pig. I'm going to be eating every single little drop of grease that's going to drop on the table. I'm going to use my thumb to pick it up and lick my thumb. I'm going to be disgusting.
So now the difference the change that I made is about the first 3 weeks of this, I didn't give a shit what I put in my body in that hour. I was just trying to eat as much as I could, and I would generally over order and then overeat on top of it. And now I'm starting to try to make sure I don't go over X amount of calories in that hour-long period. So I think that's what's made it harder the last couple days is I'm taking in less calories. So then sometimes I'll eat at like 3 o'clock, let's say, but then the next day I don't eat till 6 o'clock. So then I have 27 hours between eating on less calories. And then typically that's when I have the problem of, all right, fuck it, I'm just going to get chicken. And I'll go get a box of chicken with biscuits and potato wedges, and then I'll get chicken tenders to eat on the way home. So, like, I'll start my clock as soon as I leave the grocery store. But I've actually found that helps. If I can control myself enough that I'll eat something like, say, just a sandwich, and then that starts my clock. But then I'll wait 20 minutes before I actually eat my meal. So that puts something in my stomach. So then I don't eat nearly as much at that last, the last 40 minutes or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I just have to. I crave it too much. I mean, the other day I was going to make a healthy, yummy kale soup type thing. It's what I put in my head. I went out to get the groceries, and I did, and I come home. Several hours later, I noticed, fuck, I forgot the kale. I got all the ingredients except the goddamn main ingredient. And the stores were closed at that point, and my stomach's grumbling, and I have nothing else. I have like lemons, and I have water that I could blend into lemonade, maybe. So I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna stir fry garlic and onions, and I ate stir fried garlic and onions. And that's the kind of person you become on this fucking diet, I think. I don't have the discipline for it.
No, you have amazing discipline if that's what you're eating. If you're overeating garlic, yeah, I mean, I'm overeating.
It's not what a dignified human should be eating, Doug. It's something that, one of those starving African children with the distended tummies, they have flies running around on their eyeballs. You would see it like crawling towards a plate of stir-fried garlic, and maybe that kid would eat it.
You're selling yourself short on this, man. Yesterday, I had taco salad, actually. And while I was cooking the meat, I started the clock. I started eating chips. And I plowed through 14 people's
a little
portions.
Timer on the wall, like a sports timer your coach carries.
I do. I start a timer on my phone. I'm taking this shit seriously, man. I eat whatever I can in that window. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I was going to say is what a dignified person doesn't do is what I do, which is while you're cooking, you're eating, and then you're filling your face with this fucking garbage Doritos and picking off little pieces of meat that are brown already to try to get that in your fucking gullet. Yeah, like I told you, I don't even eat in front of my wife anymore.
Your wife's trying to stop you. Like, Doug, it's still pink inside. The chicken isn't done yet. That's good enough.
Yeah,
you eat the outer layer, put it back.
Eating now has become a so it was nice because I didn't put nearly as much thought. I don't put nearly as much thought into food as what I used to. What am I going to have for lunch? What am I going to have at breakfast? What am I going to have for supper? All that. But now I've got to make this time count. So I'll start thinking about noon, what I'm going to have at 5 o'clock. And then every single day, it's always the same thing. I'll eat as much as I can, and then I have an explosive shit. So I have to time everything around my eating time. I got about 15-minute window, and then I have an explosive shit. So I've got to think about that. Like if we're going out to eat, all right, is it someplace that I am going to feel comfortable blowing out the fucking toilet? Because it's going to happen.
I think I'm lucky that I am more introverted than you, perhaps. Or at least I'm lucky enough to where I don't have to constantly turn people down for lunch invitations. Because I don't have the discipline or I don't know what you would call it, but if my brother-in-law invites me to grab some lunch with him, I don't want to be the person who says, nah, man, I can't. I'm on a diet. I'm vegan. I can't eat there. I can't eat this. I can't eat at this hour. So I still have to go and eat with him. That only means that's my eating hour. That's my window for the day. And I have to shift it around for other people. I can't imagine how it must be for you where you're at work, all your coworkers are obese fucks, I assume, who just constantly try to slingshot donuts into your mouth. And then you go home and I assume your family kind of makes fun of you for it too. They're not going to change the way they live just for you.
So they tried. They tried to, and I've kind of pushed back on that. Don't change what you're doing because some fucking Turkish guy's calling me fat. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. You'll be fine.
Yes, but what you've been doing hasn't been working.
No, I'm saying about my family. If they want to eat, they can eat.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to like hide it so they didn't make me feel bad. But
okay, do they think I'm an asshole?
I don't think they
know
the
about
extent.
Me?
I don't think
Did
they
you tell
know
your parents about me yet?
I don't think they know the extent of your abuse. They don't know that I'm in an abusive relationship.
Sometimes I think about it, like, what would they think if they saw... We all have these thoughts, right? What would my significant other think if he or she saw my private messages with my dude friends? It probably wouldn't be great.
So I would have to imagine, because I know that my daughter's friends, everybody that she's ever brought over has always said the same thing about me. Wow, your dad's mean looking, your dad's intimidating. So my daughter's got that in her head. Hold on, I'm going somewhere with this.
You should hand them a scorecard, say, bitch, these are just masculine traits.
So I can imagine that my daughter would be heartbroken if she's seen some of the things that you have sent to me as my friend. Like, why are you putting up with this?
See, that is because she is shy, gullible, and childlike.
And she has a pancake brain.
She doesn't understand that, dudes banter. But unfortunately, I don't think a whole lot of guys understand that themselves.
I'm going to use that in the meeting tomorrow. You just don't understand. You have a pancake brain.
I have a waffle brain and a steak brain and burgers. Fries, actually. I'll take fries with that, too. Just to be told you're not at McDonald's right now. So that's something I struggle with a lot, though, is keeping friends, because that is how I talk to anyone I do want to be close with. So ironically, people I like, I insult more than anyone else, because I expect that they're gonna be cool enough to know it's not genuine, right? So me and my best friend, we don't even say hello. We just, if the first time I was in Turkey after a 6-month break from being there, I see him for the first time. He doesn't even say hello. He just calls me the N-word. Right, and we laugh and we hug, and that's it. That's how just our relationship is.
Yeah, so I've told you about that buddy of mine that I've had forever. I think since 3rd grade, something like that anyway. And, I may go 6 months without talking to him, but when I do, there's probably the first 3 minutes I'm making jokes about when his parents died every time.
Exactly. So, but unfortunately, I think you and I are, I don't know, I don't want to say a dying breed. That sounds cringy, but we grew up on different things maybe than today's generation who watches Steven Universe rather than South Park or something, which is, I constantly have to hold back when talking to my guy friends, or any guy really, or anybody, and it bothers me.
Do you? So I think this probably could transition into that suicide conversation, but in my head, I think I've got it figured out, and it's. I think it has something to do with people feeling like they have to grandstand. Like, this sounds fucking gay as fuck, but I'll get more likes on Twitter if I come out against fat shaming than I will if I say how I really feel, which is fat people look gross. So I'm going to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's the PC culture that, I mean, you're just describing virtue signaling. You're saying, look at me, how virtuous I am. Even those fat, gross people, you know what, they aren't. They're beautiful on the inside. My problem is more on a personal level, which is when I talk to somebody, I don't want to feel like I have to now think about what I am saying with you. If I have to, it means we're not close, right? I think it's a spectrum. If I'm just talking to the cashier, I think everything that I am about to say goes through a whole lot of filters in my head. I say, thank you, yes, please. Thank you, yes, I'd like that, yes. Have a nice day. With my friend, like I said, I call him the N-word or whatever it is. I call him a gypsy and every word in the book. I mean, at one point I just looked up the Wikipedia page for racial slurs just so I could go down the list and call him every single one. And that's fun to me because I don't have to hold back. I get to make fun of him. He has a terrible family, genuinely shitty, abusive, absolutely awful family. He's in a terrible situation where he constantly talks about killing himself. He has no way out. He doesn't have a job. He's balding. And all of those things, I like to know that he's my friend because I don't have to hold back with him. I don't have to be shy when I talk. I can genuinely just present my brain to this guy as it is. I don't have to make pretenses. I don't have to adhere to some boring social contract. And he can do the same to me. And it feels so good to have somebody who is just honest with you, just says what the fuck they're thinking.
So I feel the exact same way, except I am not as good at filtering. So there are times where I will say something to maybe not a stranger, but a coworker, and then it'll come out of my mouth, and it's like, oh fuck, that was not appropriate. You know, me and him do not have a relationship to where I could say that I fucked his mom, and he's gonna laugh at it.
Doug, I've done that a lot in earlier years. Now I've just gotten too many embarrassing moments. So I've learned my lesson, but I've had those moments too. The socially unaware. I don't know if you want to call it autistic, but like I said, when you grow up in high school or something with a friend like that, where you're just open about everything, you just openly insult them, and then all of a sudden you're thrust into, let's say, a corporate environment where you have to put on a suit and tie. It's the most awkward shit. So one of my most uncomfortable ones is I was doing an internship. I don't know, have I told this story before? I was doing an internship at a software company that works for the Turkish military as contractors, basically. And I was doing an internship there. These are all pro-military, pro-Turkey, very patriotic people running a software company. One day, the boss sees me in the cafeteria. He says, "You're the new intern, right? Come sit with us." And he wants to get to know me. So it's him, the boss of the owner, some CEO lady. And this was right around the time where, I think his name was Christopher Donner. You remember the cop killer?
Was it New York?
This was a guy, could be, I don't know. This was at some point, some guy he was a cop himself, but he got sick and tired of the racism in the force or something, so he's going to take the law into his own hands, and he went rogue and started shooting other cops. And to me, as an edgy teenager, I thought this was just fucking hilarious. And my retarded autistic ass thought this would be just great dinner conversation at the lunch table.
Here's a great kicking off point.
Let's break the ice. Yeah, so have you guys seen that guy who's killing cops? It's pretty funny. I don't remember verbatim what I said, but it was in that vein. And everybody looked at me awkwardly. And that was one of those, oh shit, I'm not normal moments. Like, oh, fuck. Okay. That was a reality check. Normal people don't laugh about this. They don't think it's funny. So I've had a lot of moments like that.
I think this probably parallels yours a little bit. I was at a motorcycle rally. It was a 4-day event. There was about 30,000 people there. And it was just constant titties and fucking and debauchery, basically. So we were on like day 2, I guess. And we had to run into town. It was me and my wife. We had to run into town and get some supplies. So for the previous, say, 48 or 72 hours, I had just been drunk and walking up to girls saying, "Show me your tits." It was, I bet I said, "Show me your tits" 500 times. And it was just, they whip their tits out, you take your picture, go put your head between their tits or whatever the fuck it was. It's just whatever you wanted to do, it was all there for the taking. And we were walking through Walmart, and I seen this girl that looked Walmart attractive, I guess. And I walked up to her and said, "Show me your tits." It sounds stupid, but it had become second nature so quickly that if you wanted to see a girl's tits, you could just walk up and ask her, and nobody frowned on it. She didn't, by the way.
Did you walk away from me in fear?
I got about 3/4 of the way through the sentence before I realized where I was and what I was doing was wrong. So I pretty much started turning around before the words even got out of my mouth. But
wait, how long ago was this?
Maybe 15 years ago.
Okay, so that's something I wanted to talk about. How did you have all those stories of, I stumbled into a business meeting at my temp job and I had urine run down my leg and everybody looked at me and laughed, and then I got fired. How did you go from there to being to having a career in a Fortune 100 company? How did that transition happen?
So I'd been a machinist for the better part of my life, ever since ever since I was 18, I've been working in machine shops. And then it would just transition to where I would retain some skills from the previous place that I got fired from. And I mean,
That's quite the internship.
so I would typically only hold a job for 2 or 3 months, maybe. Sometimes it would be a machining job. Sometimes I'd work in a warehouse. Sometimes I'd work at, I told the story about at Culligan Water. I got fired from there, or I quit from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a point where I couldn't drive around without hitting some place that I had worked at. And what ended up happening was I started a machinist apprenticeship. So actually I went through my machinist apprenticeship twice. The first time I went through it, I was on year 2 of a 4-year program, and I got fired for being drunk, actually. And then there was a pretty big span where I was doing the job to job to job. And then I got another job, and at this place, it was a very rough machine shop to work in. There was a lot of fights, a lot of drinking. That was the place where I would walk down the aisle after drinking my beer at lunch. But I went through my machinist apprenticeship. There. After that, I got hired into the Fortune 100 company. It was a union environment as a union machinist, basically. I did that for a couple years and became friends with one of the engineers, and he kind of took me under his wing, developed a gig for me to where I could start doing some project work. I wasn't doing floor work anymore, but I was still a union member. I did that for a couple years, and then there was a transition where I was doing such a good job at that they offered me to leave the union and go salary, which that was about 12 years ago, I think, roughly. I don't know. But through that time is really when that transition happened. When I got offered the salary position, I was still a drunk. I was drinking. I'd stopped at the bar to have a beer, which would end up me closing the bar and fighting somebody. And,
I just got a job. I want to celebrate with a fight.
I actually, now I just thought about this. I got into a fight and arrested my first day of work at...
It's not an asshole.
Yeah, fuck, I hadn't thought about that in a long time, but yeah, I got the shit kicked out of me. First day of work.
At work?
No, it was after work.
Okay.
I got the shit kicked out of me and then ended up going to jail because of it. So my second day of work, I was a no-call, no-show because I was in jail.
In the drunk tank. Your phone is vibrating in some evidence room, covered in blood in some guy's teeth.
I would love to sit here and say it's just hard work and determination, but there was a lot of people that were helping me along the way. I had a supervisor that knew I had a drinking problem, and he would cover for me back when I was on the union side.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so
it just got to a point where I got tired of... For me personally, whenever I was drinking, I couldn't just drink 3 beers and then go to bed. It would be, I'm going to drink 3 beers, and then I'm going to have one more, and then I'm going to have one more. Why am I drinking here? I should go to the bar and drink. So then I'm going to go there, and then I end up closing the bar, and now I got to be to work in 2 hours, and I'm drunk. And it was just like that, repeated over and over and over again.
So how did that stop?
There was a big gap in my drinking after I don't even want to call it attempted suicide because that sounds fucking gay. When I was heavily contemplating suicide and instead went to the nut hut.
Attempted suicide is something that I would put into the feminine column on a sheet. It's usually an act you do for attention seeking.
Yeah, and this wasn't that. This was I don't even know if there's a label for it. When I was contemplating suicide very heavily. But anyway, I when I got out of the nut hut or the mental institution, I took a long break from drinking. And then I thought, you know what, I can handle this. So then I had a beer, which turned into 2, which turned into 12. And really, I think for me personally, it was just not drinking anymore is how I did it. But there's a lot of people out there that can handle alcohol better than I can.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is it's not, I guess it takes more discipline to be able to drink a little, or to do a little of any substance you are addicted to, including food, right? Which is what we're just struggling with, which is, well, I have to eat something at some point. I have to eat, I'm a human being. But how do you keep yourself from not overeating? It would be easier if there was some method, some scientific pill you could swallow and then you didn't have to eat at all. I think a whole lot of people would have a much easier time, but it's just, you have one bowl of pasta and suddenly it turns into 7 bowls. Just like with alcohol.
Yeah, so that's the... Every vice that I have has to do with me not having willpower. Whether it was, you know, when I was doing cocaine or drinking or gambling. And it's like you said, eating is the one that nobody looks at and frowns upon until all the effects are in place and you've got parts of you hanging over your chair. You know, that's when people start judging you based on your eating. But, you know, so I still have a pack of cigarettes sitting up in my cupboard. I haven't smoked a cigarette now in probably 6 months, but I've got it sitting up there just because it makes me feel good that it's there. I've got whiskey on the counter. Yeah, I've got whiskey on the counter. I haven't drank in I don't know how long, but it's there. If I was to take them cigarettes and throw them in the garbage and dump the whiskey down the drain, then I would start thinking, well, fuck, man, now I need to go get some. I don't have any.
Yeah, no plan B. But isn't it also tempting you? I don't know, but does your family drink or anything in front of you? Or because for me, my biggest problem is I'm not that big of a drinker where every single night I binge drink myself into a coma, but I like casually drinking. I have a drink when I just work it. I enjoy the things I do more with a glass of vodka, like that intro you heard. It's just much more fun to record those gay lines when you're a little tipsy. But whenever I watch literally anyone consume any alcohol, even if it's bad, I cannot watch Mad Men without wanting to slam bourbon, cheat on my wife, and smoke. It just makes me want to do it because they look so satisfied and fun.
They look masculine.
Happy doing it. They look masculine in the masculine column. Drinks, smokes, cheats. But it's a problem, you know, those sort of things that they just trigger that craving is seeing somebody else do it is, I feel like, I want to be like that. Even if it's bad. Have you seen There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis?
No.
Ah, shit. So I was going to say, at the end of the movie, he is, spoiler alert, he turns into this disheveled alcoholic where, you know, he's estranged with his son, he's just alone, he passes out in his own vomit, and I look at it and I go, holy fuck, that is so pathetic, look at this dude, what a drunk loser. But then he gets up and he vomits or whatever, he coughs and he pulls out a little vial of vodka, and all I can think is, you know, I could go for a drink.
Do you ever have any issues, or have you had any issues with gambling in your life?
No, thankfully. Do you? I've never been in this situation. I want to qualify that. I've never gambled, so it's not something I've even been exposed to. So I do not know, but thankfully, no.
No, this story just popped in my head when we were talking about vices. This is one that I think that you'll like. So I was 18. I had a checkbook, but I had no money. And I wanted money. So the plan that I came up with was I wrote a check for $300 and bought a book of instant lottery tickets. Keep in mind, there wasn't $300 in my checking account to cover that. But so my plan was I was going to take that $300, turn it into, say, $400. By the time everything was said and done, that's what I figured I'd get. And then I could put the $300 into the account, and I'd have $100 to spend. So I wrote the check, bought the book of lottery tickets, went to a restaurant, sat down, and just started scratching feverishly. I ended up with about $180 after everything was said and done, and that was including all the free tickets. So I had to write another check to do it again because I knew that second book was going to be the one that had the winner in it.
That's not even cool gambling. Like, I went to this casino. It turns out it was owned by the Russian mob. I didn't know what to do, and no, we just bought lottery tickets. The lamest, faggiest kind of gambling, the most gullible soccer mom form of gambling.
No, so I've fucked away a bunch of money gambling, but I think this is probably the funniest story. And that's the only reason I'm sharing it is because it's funny, some asshole writing a bad check for $300 to buy a book of lottery tickets.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. So do you think that if you had won it though, let's say you win the lottery, you always hear about these people, sometimes at least, who win the lottery, they get $1 million or 100 million, and because they have been poor all their lives and they've never really known or learned how to handle money, they just piss it away in the first month. They buy all their friends Ferraris and houses, and literally anyone who shows up to ask for money, they give them money just to be cool, just to be the cool friend.
Yeah, that would be me to a T.
Would that be you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, fuck, I do that now. I do that with every paycheck.
I think you do that for your family. I don't see you... I highly doubt you spend it all on your friends.
No, but what I mean is I still live as if I'm poor. And what I mean is, I'll get a bonus, and I'll know how much that bonus is going to be coming up. And I'll have an Amazon shopping cart that is easily that bonus plus 20%. And it's, I've been wanting this, I've been wanting this, I've been wanting this. Yeah, I am absolutely horrible with money.
So somebody in the chat is pointing this out, and I think they are correct. Isn't fiscal irresponsibility sort of effeminate?
Fiscal responsibility or irresponsibility?
Irresponsibility, I'm sorry.
I have to go check the chat because I would say that traditionally women are better with money than... Yes, yeah, I think this person's right. So does that mean fiscal irresponsibility is a masculine trait? And I think typically women are known to be more fiscally responsible.
No. So I'm not saying they are not, or that this is not correct, but I think as a cliche, as a stereotype, women are considered to be, if you watch a movie, it's always the daughter going, "Daddy, can I have your credit card? I want to go shopping."
And it's the dad that gives it to her.
Fuck, you got me. You're right, she isn't spending her own money, she's spending daddy's money. Shit. I never thought about it like that. I don't know. I would like to imagine that I would be smarter with my money. Like if I won $1 million, I want to think I would guard it like Smaug, the goddamn dragon in The Hobbit, was guarding its mountain of gold from any intruder. Just literally shoot people if they even look at my wallet. But I think in reality I piss away way more money than I should be. Just even going grocery shopping, as I don't look at the at the price of whatever yogurt I'm buying. I just take what I like rather than even how much can I save here.
So I can only speak on me. I know that when I go grocery shopping, I'll spend like $300 and come back with 4 bags worth of shit. Where if my wife does the grocery shopping, she'll spend $60 and have 2 carloads full of shit.
Yeah. And full of healthy shit too. I don't know how they do it, but somehow they manage to do it. Whereas I buy jerky and then I realize, this costs $10 and it has 10,000 calories. I never checked.
It's actually amazing. I don't know how it happens, but I can go to the grocery store and spend $200 and then come back and there's nothing for any meals. There's nothing to eat. Like
cheese puffs.
We'll have a meal for that night. And then the next night it's like, okay, so we've got a random sampling of, okay, there's some hamburger and there's turkey legs and there's 5 packages of cheese. There's nothing that you can make anything.
There's your wife is looking around, your daughter too, like, okay, so we have hot dog buns. We don't have hot dogs. Dad ate them all raw while he was making hot dogs yesterday. Yeah, I don't know. It's especially me. I feel like I should have a better barometer for what I should be spending because obviously I grew up in Turkey. I mean, I remember that the first microphone I bought was this big decision for me, which was an Audio-Technica 2020 USB Plus, which at the time cost $100. I don't know how it costs today, but $100 plus the foot stand or whatever it was cost around 600 Turkish liras, which is a lot of money in Turkey. And I remember my mom wasn't happy about my spending decision. I felt guilty as shit. And I went from that to now today, $100. It's still, I consider it a lot of money, but at the end of the day, at the end of the month, I still look at my bank summary and I see, why the fuck did I pay $100 for this? I didn't have to pay for this. How did I convince myself that this was okay when just 5 years ago I was missing sleep because I had spent the same exact amount of money? And now today, 5 years later, I'm just doing it like that.
Yeah,
I'm going to end up bankrupt. I feel like at some point I'm going to fuck myself into bankruptcy.
That's just proportionate, though. That's everybody. You make more money, you spend more money. That's how it is. If all of a sudden you landed some deal and now you're making, $8 million a year, your spending is going to go up proportionally. I'm sure that you have money in savings, right?
Yeah. Some,
right,
but
so
not so much that I am confident. It's not fuck you money. You would have noticed if it was.
No, I don't think that you have fuck you money, but 5 years ago, did you ever think that you would have the amount of money in savings that you have now?
No, not even close. So that's
what I mean.
But that's what I blame myself for. Is 5 years ago, I could never have even dreamt of being as lucky as I am now. So today, I should be fucking praying 5 times a day like a Muslim, thanking God for what I have, yet I don't. Am I an ingrate? And that sort of bothers me every once in a while. Do you not have that feeling? Do you not sometimes feel like, man, I was the stumbling, bumbling, drunk fucker, and now I have a house, I have a job, I have a wife and a daughter and a son.
I downplayed the road to get from being drunk and getting kicked out of a bar and getting fired the next day and all that bullshit to the road that I'm at right now, where I have a nice house and family and all that. There is a lot of bumps that happen between here and there. So while I know that people helped me, I have thanked them profusely. But one, I know God wasn't a part of it. And two...
Well, okay, I'm not religious. That was just an example.
No. But, no shit, I've got self-esteem issues. Billy, thanks. I appreciate the insight. Fuck. But I don't feel the need to do anything other than maybe look back and reflect and think, yeah, I don't know that I would have chosen this path for anybody else or myself, given everything that I've went through. But because of everything I went through, I'm now a stronger person. So fuck everybody else who thinks that shit should be handed to them. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, I mean, that part is right. That's good, man, if you're grateful. Sometimes I think I should be more grateful and more careful about what I have.
Are you spending frivolously?
It feels like I am. I mean, like you said, I go to the grocery store, I pay like 30 euros, and then I come home and the next day somehow it's all gone. I don't have anything to actually make a meal with. Right, I'm thinking, well, where the fuck did that money go? What did I buy? What, was it the avocados? Was it the beef jerky? Was it the chips? Which one of these things cost the most? And I think I'm stupid for not knowing, which is a masculine trait.
Again, I think it's a matter of perspective. If you have the ability to save money, you also need to be able to reward yourself. The only difference is your rewards are getting bigger as your income gets bigger. There's nothing wrong with that. If, let's say that you're spending 10% of your money on shit that you could literally walk in the house and throw away and you wouldn't notice that it's gone, that's just going to move up. So if you start making $1 million paychecks, you're going to start having purchases that start creeping up towards $100,000 for the year that you throw away. That now you have a dune buggy that you've played with once, as opposed to a PlayStation, like Brady said. You have to allow yourself.
I feel guilty about that,
and you shouldn't. You shouldn't. What kind of life would it be if you're just taking all your money and not rewarding yourself for, and you can say lucky, but I still have to say it's hard work, for not rewarding yourself for your hard work. You have to give yourself that ability. So when you're raising a teenager and you're trying to instill in them how to save money, and they want to take and take part of it and go blow it on, whether it's a concert ticket or a fucking game or a comic book or whatever the fuck it is, you have to allow them that. You have to allow them the ability to splurge on themselves, so they understand what the reward is. Just taking all your money and saving it because, maybe looking back, if I was to say, would you still buy that PlayStation knowing you're only going to play it once? You'd be a retard if you said yes.
All right, and I am a retard. And that bothers me. So, I mean, I phrased that wrong, but I get it. I just don't know how to balance what you said, which I agree with the hedonic treadmill. I don't know if I've told you about that before, but it's basically the more you earn, the more you accomplish in life, the higher your bar gets for what should make you happy. So 5 years ago, whatever, like, let's say for you, 20 years ago, you would have been happy if you made even $100 this week, right? So you can just drink a couple of beers.
Yeah.
But today, that would not make you happy. That would just be you would be destitute. You would be just fearful for your life, for your family's life. And that's the bar keeps getting raised and raised. And sometimes I fear it gets raised too far.
So I've always associated that as an American trait, but apparently it's not. I know that I'm pretty sheltered. I know that when we first got married, or even before we got married, I was making, say, $11, $12 an hour, whatever job would have me. And it was enough that, we could, even when we had our first kid, I still wasn't making good money. But, we could still take vacations and shit. I just had a lot less things. I didn't have this laptop and this camera and these lights and all this bullshit that I'm staring at, these stupid collectibles I've put on the wall. I didn't have none of that shit. And that's where, the savings percentage of my income going to savings has always been about the same. It's just that percentage now is a larger chunk of money.
How would you feel if your past you appeared, time travels, somehow appears in your face and says, stop spending this much? You used to be happy if you even had a roof to sleep under. Come on, don't be an asshole. And he chastises you. Would you be angry? Would you kick him out of your house? Beat him up?
No. You have no idea how many times I've looked back in my life. I'm sitting here staring at a table of electronics. I've got like 4 Arduinos, 3 Raspberry Pis. I've got this motors and robot arms and shit that I was working on. All this shit that I bought, just sitting in a pile. And it's like I would kill just to have that money. If I could just have that money sitting in front of me instead of this bullshit that I bought.
Yeah, I get that too. Not as much. I have 2 Raspberry Pis. That's another story for another day. Is me trying to make a security a security cam for my own apartment, so my sister doesn't break in.
Fuck. I'll tell you when it hits you. You know, after that shit with the hurricane, when 3/4 of everything that I've ever purchased in my life was sitting in a pile out in the yard, covered in fucking sewage. You know, then it's like, fuck, I'd really like to have that money.
Did I really need this treadmill that is now floating?
Obviously I did.
Shit. But didn't use it. Fuck. Alright. I think we should wrap it up a little bit soon. Did you want to talk about that bitch in Congress and Zuckerberg?
Well, now it would seem kind of forced.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Plus, I don't know how much time we have. Did anyone want to chime in? Anybody have any opinions? Tell us about your struggles with money. We've been very open about this. Chat says, do it like the Egyptians. Just bury your stuff with you. They ask a question, then don't let them give an answer. What are you talking about, Dezel? Oh, sorry, Zuckerberg. Okay, I thought for a moment you were talking about us and how we talk to people that we unmute. Yeah, that was fucking terrible, man.
I got a couple clips I guess I could try to play real quick.
Okay, let's do it. Just give me 1 second to piss. I've been holding this one in for like 20 minutes. Just a moment.
I'm glad to hear that your friend paid for his part of the rent. Are you guys still friends, or was it a take this money and go fuck yourself type of conversation? I'll wait. Type faster.
All right, I'm back.
So this congressional hearing, whatever the fuck it was, so the interesting thing to me as I was jumping around watching it and watching highlights and all that was going back and watching the last time Zuckerberg went in front of Congress. You know, to me it was a bunch of old people that don't understand technology asking somebody who is knee deep in technology and then trying to trap him. You know, it was embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this time around, as somebody pointed out in the chat, they weren't going to allow themselves to be embarrassed, so they didn't give him a chance to answer questions. And you know what?
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know anything about Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know if he's highly intelligent or if it's true that he stole the idea of Facebook or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, as I was watching those hearings, what I got out of it was they were envious that he was rich or richer than them. And that's how they were talking to him.
So Zuckerberg is not, I would not say that he's a good person. He's definitely smart. I mean, I just can't look at somebody who has billions and billions of dollars and say he must be an oaf who just stumbled into all this money and success. That's not true. But what you say about old people not knowing what they're talking about in terms of technology, that is so upsetting to witness sometimes. I don't know if you've watched Did you watch the first Democratic debate?
I don't know. I've seen so many clips. I didn't watch it. Go
on. Just to give one example. On stage you have Andrew Yang, who's like in his 30s or something, the Asian guy who wants universal basic income, and he's talking about AI. He's talking about automation. So immediately you can tell this guy understands the problems that not only our generation are going to face, but the next one as well. He knows that at some point there's going to be a bottleneck that we have to face with. And you have him on stage with someone like Joe Biden, who is an octogenarian racist pedophile who literally does not know what the internet is. And this to me is ridiculous. One of those people is going to be better at making decisions 10 years down the line from now, or 4 to 8, whatever it is, however many terms they serve.
Right. So the thing is that first person, or not Yang, but the second person probably could have spoken pretty intelligently about the way things were 30 years ago and how you had to build your financial system versus the person that,
right.
Times have changed. So your mentality, just like my mentality now, doesn't bode well with a lot of the younger generation because I am so unaware of how things work now. I know how things work for me, but that is a small portion of the population. People don't communicate the same way now as how I do. So for me to try to tell them how to build their finances or build their personal relationships, one don't go with the other.
It's simply crazy that, you have one guy who's talking about the dangers of AI and automation, and the other guy doesn't even know what that is. It's a big problem. It's technology, it's an advancement, and I think in the long term it's going to help mankind in general, but there's so many downsides that we will have to deal with. And you have this other guy, and several of them, all the older fuckers on stage, they have no idea what any of that means. He does not know what an AI is. It's like if the US president today did not know what China was. He never heard of the country. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine electing that guy who doesn't know what one of the world powers is, that it exists? And that's what this is like. It's bonkers to me to even consider electing somebody like that. And you would think so with Zuckerberg in the meeting. They ask him, so Mr. Zuckerberg, I saw that, or you record people's locations, is that true? And they genuinely don't know just how much power that fucker holds over all of our lives. They have no clue.
That's really what I would consider the bigger issue here is it is well known, I think it's well known, that Facebook is taking as much information from the population as possible and then monetizing it. We are the product.
Yeah.
And it's not about them controlling the banks. This is just the next step. And I don't see what they're talking about with Libra. To me, is not that big of a deal. Facebook wants to. I think it's called I don't remember the wallet that they were going to use. It wasn't Libra, but Libra was the.
It's their own cryptocurrency is their point, I think.
Right, but so they're bringing in this. I think 23, 27 other companies, and they were going to manage it and all that. Here, I want to play this. This was him talking about why he wanted to create it.
There are more than 1 billion people around the world who don't have access to a bank account, but could through mobile phones if the right system existed. And that includes more than 14 million people right here in the US. Being shut out of the financial system has real consequences for people's lives, and it's often the most disadvantaged people who pay the highest price.
All right, so I'm calling bullshit on it. He's not doing it for that reason, but it's still a fact.
No,
it doesn't. Whatever reason he's doing it, it doesn't matter that these people will now have access to money where they didn't before. But this is what was the response.
I have a few more things to say, but for the richest man in the world to come here and hide behind the poorest people in the world and say that's who you're really trying to help. You're trying to help those for whom the dollar is not a good currency. Drug dealers, terrorists, tax evaders.
So the problem with that is that's exactly what the dollar is for. I mean, it's not like the drug dealers and tax evaders are immune from cash. That's what they deal in.
Right. It's
cash.
not as if the Sinaloa cartel is now going to use Facebook bucks instead of... They were already using dollars. They have billions and billions and billions of dollars in American banks and offshore in Panama. They already use your currency. Nothing is changing right here. And also, Zuckerberg is not the richest man on earth. That's also fact check false.
I think what the real issue is they're not going to be making the money off of him or off of all the exchanges. I think that's the issue. They don't understand it, and they think that they're going to be missing out on it.
I'm going to get called a red-pilled magatard, which I'm not, but the only reason Zuckerberg is in the crossfire right now is because Trump won. Because up until a couple of years ago, it was only conservatives giving Zuckerberg shit, supposedly claiming that he supposedly was censoring conservative news, conservative opinions. But now that Trump won, he's drawn the ire of the left, claiming that he is allowing fake news and fake advertising on his platform. Which is why you see people like AOC, the young chick, screeching at him, asking why he's letting websites associated with white supremacy advertise on his platform and all that. So the right gave him shit for not giving them free speech, and now the left is giving him shit for giving people too much free speech.
So
he's caught between a rock and a hard place. What the fuck is he supposed to say now? Both parties are bitching at him, and he's a CEO, representative of his company, trying to simply fool the public so he can keep going for another year until he has to appear in front of Congress yet again.
So what's your thoughts on that? Like, what do you think about when he said he's for free speech, as somebody pointed out, but Alex Jones is still banned?
No,
he said he's not going to fact check any political ads. Like, I think that's great. I don't think he should. I don't want somebody, especially somebody like him or anybody that he appoints, to tell me what I can hear. I believe that it is my responsibility to fact check and then make a decision.
Yeah, but that isn't true. So that's my only problem with that is Zuckerberg appears in front of Congress every once in a while. He apologizes for mistakes his company has made, and then they just go on to make the same mistakes. They don't actually fix it, which is why I think he's a disingenuous person, and I think he's up there trying to shield his company from government intervention. You have people like Kamala Harris talking about how she wants to break up Facebook and Google because they're too big of monopolies. And whether you agree with that or not, at that point, it's people like Zuckerberg's job to go in front of Congress and pretend as if he is cooperating and he has the best interest in mind, when in reality, he personally, of course, he just wants to make money. He doesn't give a shit.
Right, but...
So he's going to go on there. If he's being questioned by a Republican, he's going to say how he believes in free speech. If he's being questioned by a Democrat, he's going to talk about how, of course, we fact check, of course, we're against hate speech. None of it is right.
So I think my real issue with the whole Facebook conversation is, so me and Anthony have argued about this in the past, where, now the majority of Americans get their news from Facebook. So he should be required to fact check or stop fake news and I think that's bullshit. The fact that Americans are so fucking lazy that we get our news from Facebook, that's where we need to focus on. Not putting rules on Facebook. It's just a fucking app to share pictures with your fucking grandma or something. Don't just because people are so fucking lazy and stupid, huh?
Yeah, but they are lazy and stupid. The problem that most people have with this idea. Yeah, but so that's the thing though, Doug. They do want to punish Zuckerberg and his company because he let opinions the left deems unacceptable and wrong roam free, and he got elected eventually with all the memes and all that stuff that roamed on Facebook, and the problem that a lot of people on the right have with him with the idea of fact-checking, quote, is that fact-checking isn't a thing. Who's the authority here? You're going to have websites like Snopes who fact-check satire, or Politico? Politico, where, Bernie Sanders could literally say the moon is made out of cheese, and Politico would say that's mostly true. That's the kind of website that would be doing the fact-checking, or the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is an outlet that extorts money from people so they don't get slandered. Or the ADL, which does the exact same thing. So all these outlets that are supposed to be doing the fact-checking, it's like if I gave you the authority to fact-check calorie markings on food. You would say that they're all 0 calories and they're all healthy and good. Because you're a fat fuck.
You can eat all of them when you're fasting. It's fine.
Exactly. So you're not a credible authority. That doesn't make sense. And that's the people's gripes. So when he gets screeched at for not fact-checking or for not removing false information, it's a disingenuous tactic. You simply do not want to see viewpoints you disagree with.
I think we're arguing the same thing, though. So I don't know where to go from here on this. I feel like we are.
I know, I agree with you. I didn't mean to sound as though I was not. I agree with you. I'm also adding me, that I'm not attacking you. I just called you fat. That's what I always do.
I'm aware.
I don't need Libra bucks for that.
I want to play. I'm just going to change gears here.
Could I run ads targeting Republicans in primaries saying that they voted for the Green New Deal?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Would I be able to run advertisements on Facebook targeting Republicans in primaries saying that they voted for the Green New Deal? I mean, if you're not fact-checking political advertisements, I'm just trying to understand the bounds here. What's fair game?
I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head. I think
so. You don't know if I'll be able to do that.
I think probably.
So there's a couple clips that I've got here, and I've never used this phrase "mean girl club." I've never used that in my real life, but that's what I thought of when I heard these. It's you take these women, and it's like they're the incels. You ask somebody a question, they start answering, and you're just gonna jab. Yeah,
you interrupt. Honestly, if I had to, so that's AOC who was just speaking, and if I had to give her a column, it would not be masculine. She would not fall under even feminine. She would just fall into a new column called cunt. Just such a level of asshole, annoying, insufferable voice, where she asks him, I'm sure you have more clips, and they're all the same. It's, Mr. Zuckerberg, do you, could I, run an ad, that says black people are subhuman? Do you agree with that, Mr. Zuckerberg? Do you think black people are animals, Mr. Zuckerberg? And he goes, no. And then she interrupts him. Okay, moving on, Mr. Zuckerberg. Why do you want to fuck children? And that was the entire interview.
You know what percentage of African Americans are on Facebook?
Yeah.
In comparison to majority folks? Do you know what the percentages are?
People using the Facebook?
Yes. Do you know what the percentages are for African Americans?
I don't, because we don't collect the races of people.
Well, it came out in a report in the Pew Research Center that was sent to you. So maybe you just don't read a lot of things that deal with civil rights or African Americans.
Maybe you want to own slaves. Is that right, Zuckerberg?
So that was by far the most fucked up moment of the entire hearing. So, Mr. Zuckerberg, do you know how many black people are on your plantation? And he's like, what? I don't record the races of people. That's not how we hire. He is audibly confused. And so I hate Zuckerberg, but kudos to him. He has a great poker face where he just doesn't show any emotion. He looks like a lizard robot. But even he was baffled by that question, we don't record, what do you want from me? And they're asking about, how many black people, how many trans-disabled furries do you employ? You do not know? Well, You must be a racist then, are you not, Mr. Zuckerberg? Would it not be extremely creepy if he knew that answer? If he had a concrete answer like, yes, we have 17 Negroes. Would that not be fucking insane if he gave that answer? If he knew off the top of his head how many people of each race he's employing, that would be fucking despicable.
So what she was asking specifically if he knew how many black people used Facebook, the app or the service, not working there.
Yeah.
But so I think this one here is along the same lines.
Yes or no? Would you leave behind your children's inheritance in Libra?
No.
Congresswoman.
Do you believe in what you're building?
Yes, I do. And
would you leave behind your children's inheritance in Libra? I think it's a fair question because
I think it's
you've proven that we cannot trust you with our emails, with our phone numbers. So why should we trust you with our hard-earned money?
Well, Congresswoman,
reclaiming my time. If you can't answer yes or no, would you leave behind your children's inheritance in Libra?
Congresswoman, I would, because it'll be backed 1-to-1 by other.
All right, moving on. I'm running out of time here.
Fucking cunt.
Jesus fuck. This is a very old school stereotypical question is when you're a disingenuous fuck and you're talking to a congressman, you ask, have you stopped beating your wife? And it makes him look bad no matter what he says. If he says yes or no, it makes him look bad. Did you stop beating your wife? Yes. No. Either answer is a gotcha. And these are the kind of questions they were asking this guy. He's trying to be like, well, and that's where they interrupt him. You're eating my time? What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, so what I imagine that having a conversation with Mark Zuckerberg is probably the most uncomfortable thing that could ever happen to somebody, because I don't.
Oh yeah.
Just from what little I've seen of him, I would guess he would be somebody that I would call autistic. You know, he
does not look human at all. He has that Igor servant haircut, like Frankenstein's helper haircut. He looks like the creepiest motherfucker.
I'm also guessing that if you ask him, do you know how many black people use Facebook? His brain is starting to run calculations like, okay, I've seen this report and there was this, and 36% of people in fucking Alabama, and you know, he is trying to process the information in a way that makes sense to another autistic person, whereas they're just trying to railroad him. I think I got one more here that, and this is what I was talking about, the Mean Girls shit. So it blew my mind when I heard this, that you have these people in Congress who are supposed to be, I guess, our country's leadership, and then they bring somebody in here, one of the richest people in the country, and start talking about his fucking haircut and shit, trying to just needle him.
Mr. Zuckerberg, as you know, Facebook can be sometimes an unkind place, both toward my personal appearance and today apparently toward your haircut. But I just, as a mother of a teenage boy, I just want to say thanks for modeling the shortcut.
As the mother of a teenage boy, thanks for modeling the shortcut. It's like, you fucking cunt. You're just pissed off because this guy's rich and he knows about you.
What does that mean, modeling the shortcut? What is she talking about?
I think it's like the mom cut or some shit like that.
Oh, okay.
But this shit of,
yeah, okay.
Like when they, from the previous clip, when they said, you know, we know that our emails are not safe with you. That right there tells you that they don't know what they're talking about. They're using things that happen on the internet, and Facebook is the cause of the problem.
Yeah, Facebook it's intrusive. You get tracked by Facebook's cookies and trackers, even if you don't even have a Facebook account. Every website you log on does this today. But just this week, Edward Snowden went on Joe Rogan's show to talk about just how aggressively the US government tracks you. If you aren't close to literally any surface that might have a microphone or microphone-like properties, they can listen in on you. And these people are trying to make it look as if, oh, it's only the private companies. No, it's not as if the US government does it just as much and just as badly. Right? We're all being watched. That's the problem. We get it. They're trying to act as if Zuckerberg is this James Bond villain, masterminding all of our demise with the emails. Oh, you researched my emails, didn't you?
All right.
I'd be mad if I wasn't like him, multi-billionaire. So I think part of the reason why he can sit there and just take this abuse is that he knows at the end of the day, he gets to go bathe in a pool that is 20% gold flakes. And then he gets to go out and marinate himself in $100 bills if he wants to.
So I was actually very impressed. The opening statements, I didn't clip it, but it was basically what you referenced. Not only do I think that Libra is a bad idea, I think that Facebook should be broken up. And he just sat there with his fucking lizard face, looking forward, no emotions, no nothing. Where I would imagine that if it was me and somebody was trying to insinuate that my $1 billion company should be broken up, fuck you, bitch.
Oh, you better believe I would be. I mean, the moment she asks him about all the African Americans, I would just out of spite, I would go on a racist rant, just so angrily. Are you trying to take my money from me? But he sat there, he took it like a champ on his probably prosthetic fake chin, his lizard chin. I'm impressed by that, man.
You want to, let's see if anybody's got anything they need help with, and if not, then we can get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, let's wrap up. Anyone got any opinions they want to chime in with? Just for the record, though, obviously, Mark Zuckerberg knows the exact percentage of African Americans using his platform. It's Facebook, for God's sake. They probably know how many people are left-handed with short hair and a limp. Specifically, I bet you $1 million they have that data.
Yeah, so you can go in and see what profile Facebook has built about you. You can go through all their, goddamn well they know everything about you.
Absolutely, but still, it's a whole different level to be asked, do you know how many black people you own? Or something along those lines. And then get called a racist when you try to imply that people's worth isn't about their race.
All right.
I don't think anyone has anything to say.
No, nobody's got any issues.
Okay.
Fuck you two.
I have a quick voicemail. So we have a voicemail number. And so far, only 2 people have called it, one of whom I'm about to play. The other is, I believe, just Japanese spam. I don't know if it's a Japanese advertising company that just found our number or if it was somebody pranking us. I'm not going to play that one because there's no point. I will play the other one, though. This is the only voicemail, the only real one.
Hey, Kyle.
What?
Hold on. Somebody just asked, why do popular people fail later in life? I'm moderately popular and kind of worried. I can answer that.
Okay.
If you have somebody in that peaks in high school, as this person said, it's no different than the hot girl syndrome, where you get out into the real world after having everything catered to you. You don't necessarily know how to get it on your own. Just like hot girls tend to think that they're really funny because guys that want to fuck them laugh at everything they say. And then you get out in the real world and you realize that you're not that interesting. People will let you know you're not that interesting.
Yeah, at some point your looks fade and coincidentally you realize that the guys aren't laughing at your jokes anymore. All right, what a coincidence that is. I brought this up recently I used Harvey Weinstein as an example. You know, the rapist Hollywood guy?
Yeah.
He went to a party or some sort of a comedy event recently in the past week or two, and he got booed and he got protested by people, and people were surprised that he even showed up. People were saying, so did he not expect to be booed? Did he not expect people to be angry? But I was thinking, so imagine if you were Harvey Weinstein. I don't know how old he is, let's say 60. For 60 years of your life, whatever room you walk into, you are the most important person in that room. Everyone drops everything they do just to figuratively and sometimes literally suck your dick and please you and suck up to you. You live like that, and all of a sudden, one day, it all changes. I don't think he's accustomed to I don't think he even expected that there would be anyone who doesn't like him at any event that he attends. He isn't used to it. He doesn't know what that is, what it means to not be liked.
Yeah, I think that's probably a magnified version to answer that guy's question or girl's question. I wasn't paying attention.
Feminine, masculine.
Yeah, it was a feminine question because quit being a faggot and just work hard. I'm scared I'm not going to be popular.
Okay, definitely feminine. We should, from now on, frame every episode in the view of, is this feminine or masculine? And I feel like us bitching about not getting to eat raw hot dogs is kind of feminine. I just pulled the Japanese bullshit, so I do want to play this actually. Here's some call we got. I don't know what any of this means.
是安号信用出现瑕疵，为避免影响个人权益，请立即处理。详情请按9。详情请按9。
All right.
Social
In the
Security
future,
是安迪，您好，您的是安号信用出现瑕疵，为避免影响个人权益，请立即处理。详情请按9。详情请按9。
I love how you took that as a cue, but no, that was a 30-second clip of some Chinese rambling.
In the future, please don't feel the need to play every voicemail. I don't want to do that.
So I won't. But so far, we literally only ever got 2, which is
so fucking play it.
Call in, people. Come on. Our voicemail number is 929-464-4095. And this is another call from somebody who called September 15th.
Oh man, it's been like half of a month since you guys did your last episode. Like, what the heck? I need a surgery and I'm just sitting in the hospital. I've listened to all of the episodes of the official podcast. I'm listening to the H3 podcast. I've listened to some of the Who's Right podcast. Where's the new episode for Spit Roast? Like, what the heck, guys? I want to hear you insult some vegetable on social media again.
Well, you got it. You got a new one. Yeah, the number for those asking again is 929-464-4095. I'll also post this again in our social media feed and such, and I think we can wrap it up, right? All right, thanks for tuning in to Spit Roast. Our number is 929-464-4095 if you want to call in and leave an opinion, preferably if it's not in Chinese or Japanese or, I don't know, English, Turkish, German are the languages that I understand, and maybe a little bit of Spanish from all the cartel violence that I've seen. But that's about it, please. Keep it to that. Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
See you later, alligator. Wow.
Yeah. So if possible, I'd like to end this here in the next 5 minutes, but I would like to get Brady back on. I've got some concerns.
Okay, did you want to talk to us, Brady? You want to call then? I'll just unmute him. The fuck waiting for him to answer.
What
Brady,
do you want to talk about?
You're on.
Yes. Hi.
Hey, so Brady, I would like to believe that you have been entirely truthful with me and Kaya regarding your sticking to this 1 meal a day thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. The first Monday didn't count. That first day did not count.
It did, but that's not what I'm referring to. So I know that I don't know that I would have been doing as well if I didn't have somebody that I was venting to constantly, being Kaya.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm wondering, are you doing that with anybody? If not, I'm struggling to believe that every time I ask you how you're doing, you just say, I'm doing good, or this has been great, or...
Well, it's like, I'm not... You guys sound like it's the hardest thing you ever did. I'm not really having that much problem with it.
Then I can't believe that you're doing it.
Oh, I'm 100% doing it. The thing is, like, just anything I would want to eat throughout the day, I just look at that and say, I'll save that for later. I'll have that during my meal. Yeah, I've been doing it.
So the first week, you were spitting out questions like, well, can I have Diet Pepsi? Can I have or a Diet Soda? Can I have this? Can I have that?
Diet Soda is my favorite.
Yeah, what if I eat only... What if I have only one slice of pizza? Does that count?
No, I just didn't understand it all at first.
I think literally one of your questions is, what is fasting? You had never heard of it.
Well, I mean, I've never
so
done it
I guess Doug and I are both very incredulous about a guy being so successful with fasting when he's never even known what fasting is. You were confused about a concept of eating where you do not eat on a conveyor belt.
I'm not accusing you of lying, Brady. I'm accusing you of being ignorant. You may be breaking fast and not even knowing it.
Oh, okay. I am eating one time a day.
Okay.
At the same time every day.
I believe you.
I have little water drink mixes sometimes, but
now wait a minute. See, pop. God damn it!
I can't have a water drink mix at 0 calories.
No, that fuck.
Wait, hold on. What?
What's a water drink mix?
It's just water flavoring. That's not
Brady,
bad
flavoring with what?
Brady.
What?
The whole point of it was nothing entered your body for 23 hours other than coffee, tea, or water. That was it.
Yeah.
It was easy.
Yeah, I mean, I barely have the mix. It's not something I do a lot.
so then
it's not. That's not breaking a fast. I actually read on Google. It is
breaking fast.
It's not.
Brady. It's
not breaking your fast. I read on Google saying that
okay.
You can
in that case.
You can have any drink that's under 50 calories. I'm doing 0 calorie only, which is not pop. No pop.
Brady.
What?
If you went back and looked at our chat, I told you 23 hours a day you can have homemade bone broth, water, coffee, or tea. No additives. No additives. That was the key.
That's not an additive.
What the fuck? You're telling me you're adding this shit to your water, but it's not an additive?
Oh my god!
How is it like?
It's still.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. Is it like when you have a sweet tea dissolvable thing and you add it to your
here, I can take a fucking picture of it. It's like
so you add it to water and it tastes nice. It makes the water taste sweet and delicious.
0 sugar, 0 calories, nothing in it.
Yeah, okay, Brady, but like Coca-Cola Vanilla is also 0 sugar and 0 calories, but that's not good.
I don't drink that.
No, Inkblot. The reason for the fast isn't just to not consume calories. It's your body starts producing insulin when you're taking stuff in. And when you have all these...
it's still working. It's still working.
What's still working? I think he's adding like fried chicken legs to his water and then just
shut up. You're just being ridiculous.
I'm not being
bone broth. You mean chicken soup? There's a bone in it.
You mean hamburger? Hamburger juice?
You're
Brady,
trying to
I'm
say
not being
that.
ridiculous.
You are being
so.
ridiculous.
The rules were simple. It was very cut and dry. Did we say for 23 hours a day you can have water, tea, coffee, and little packets of shit that you add to your water? Did we say that?
It's not little packets of shit. It was no, that was the main point. No food. That's the thing we're getting on. No food. I have not had food.
No, there wasn't. That was it. That was it. It wasn't little packages of anything. It was water, tea, coffee. Kaya, what have you had?
Water, tea, coffee, and
have you had
tea?
Have you had chicken broth?
Have tea and coffee. I can have a little drink.
Have you had cheese?
Cheese? No, oh God, I love cheese, but no.
Have you had toast?
No.
Okay, see,
you're just tempting me now.
The first thing I asked Brady was, have you had anything? No, I haven't had anything other than this.
Nothing to eat. It's a one meal. We're not talking about drinks. Drinks aren't a meal.
See what I mean?
I just switched sides to duck side. This is
why
Brady. A Starbucks Frappuccino is a drink. It still has 2,000 calories.
I'm only drinking water.
Yeah,
no, you're drinking water with additives.
Okay, so Brady, a Starbucks Frappuccino is also just water, except it has ice and foam and cream and sugar and coffee.
I mean, I'm still like the point is, I'm still losing weight. I'm still fasting.
You're not fasting. You are losing weight. You are taking in less calories, but you're not fasting.
That is fasting. I've barely even had the drink mixes. Also, another point. I can cut it out.
Another point is that you've had any of them. That's the only point.
You had tea and coffee. That's the same thing.
It's not, because it was specifically spelled out at the beginning.
Oh my God. No, it wasn't. There was nothing spelled out at the beginning, really.
Brady, me brewing tea with, let's say, ginger root is not the same thing as you using some powder.
Ginger root?
Brady,
I would consider that a food.
Not if you boil it. I'm not eating it. I'm simply getting the juices out of it for tea. It's not the same thing as you using a powdered chemical. It's not the same thing as you using a powdered chemical that has something in it that makes the tea sweet. Do you feel like Zuckerberg right now?
Just lagging a lot. I can barely hear what's going on.
You were not fasting. That's what's going on.
I am definitely fasting. You're so full of shit. It's about the food, not drinks.
No, Brady, that's not what a fast is. First of all, the fast that we are doing, I don't think is even the worst kind. I mean, millions and millions of Muslims, if not billions, around the world do once a year a fast that is much more radical than what we're doing. How? Because for most of the day, they are not even allowed to drink water, Brady. They're not allowed to even swallow their own spit sometimes. It just, depending on how radical they are, you have TV shows with imams on TV arguing with each other if chewing gum breaks the fast. So people go through a whole lot more grueling regimens than what we are doing here.
No, Thrimer. So it said Doug's over here drinking a gallon of bone broth. The thing about the bone broth is that it has to be homemade. So that means you have to have a cow bone available to boil and get the bone broth out. And that shit ain't happening.
Me? How many calories is in that?
I don't fucking know, nor do I care. I'm telling you.
That's breaking your fast.
Okay, you dumb fuck. Did you even listen? I said I haven't had any. And the reason why I haven't had any is because it's too hard to make. But regardless, it doesn't matter. It was specifically set in motion before we started. Here's the things that you can have. We all three knew it.
That's what I've been drinking.
And at no point when we were talking about doing this did any of us say, oh, and them little packets of powder that you can put into your water.
Yeah. I didn't realize it'd be against the rules, really.
The rules were this, and this.
That seems to be your common excuses. Well, pleading ignorance is, I didn't know I couldn't have chicken thighs.
I feel like I would have to go down the list of all possible foods for you to get to one and say, well, yeah, I've had that, but you never said I couldn't have Long John Silver's.
This is the only thing. A little water flavoring, that's not breaking a fast. I saw something on Google saying that if any drink under 50 calories is not breaking your fast. I'm still having 0 calories.
Let me ask you this. Have you been feeling better or worse since you started doing this with us?
What do you mean?
Overall, just do you feel better? I mean, do you feel less bloated? Do you feel lighter, better, healthier in any way?
I feel like I'm losing weight, and I feel like, it feels better. I mean, I slowly gaining some confidence.
For me, it feels much, much nicer to not have that bloated gut at 10 a.m. in the morning when I skip breakfast and I feel like my stomach isn't struggling to digest something right now. So don't you feel like it would be even better if you skip the powdered sugar stuff?
Well, yeah, I'm going to from now on. I didn't realize it was a huge deal.
From now on, we got 3 days left, Brady.
It's not something... We're at a complete disagreement.
Do we have to reset the fucking bet just for you?
Well, I'm not going to stop after this. If I'm going to keep losing weight, I'm just going to keep going.
Okay.
Brady, I posted our conversation from October 7th.
Yeah, that was talking about pop.
The only thing you should be drinking is water, coffee, tea, or apple cider vinegar.
This is water.
Okay, so if you put a cheeseburger in there, it's still water, right?
A cow is 70% water. You can't eat it, Brady.
It's the same thing as tea, coffee, or ginger, or whatever onion spice you're putting in your crap. It's the same thing.
I don't put anything in it. Brady,
you're drinking
very
coffee.
carefully.
You were drinking coffee.
Because that is allowed in the fast. Not coffee with sugar, not coffee with cream, not coffee with your fucking faggot powder that you're putting in your water. Just coffee.
You're really hanging on to the details. You're trying to invalidate my plans, but because I put some powder in my water.
The details, like, did your burger have a patty? Yeah. Well, God, all these details, I can't be bogged down by.
It's one little thing.
Is it 7 chicken nuggets or 17? I don't know. I don't care.
Brady is the worst type of liar.
Because he doesn't
even know that he's doing it.
I'm being 100% honest with you.
No, I think he's the best kind of liar because he had us going for 27 days into this fucking bet. He's the best type of liar because, as they say, the best lies contain a kernel of truth. And Brady genuinely believes that he's been fasting.
You ask him how he's holding up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm doing fine." It's because he's got a fucking hamburger in his hand.
You're so stupid. You cannot validate.
He's got a bib on. A fucking hose running into your mouth from a keg full of sweet tea. Yeah, I'm not surprised you're holding up well, Brady.
You're the one drinking tea and coffee. I'm not doing that. I'm drinking water.
Yeah. No sugar. My teas and coffees taste bitter and like shit.
Yeah, anyway, Brady, keep it up. Good job.
Yeah, well, now you're trying to invalidate my fast. Which is BS.
Somebody's been coaching you.
What?
It's not like a feminist, like you're trying to invalidate my personal experience.
Those are Brady's words. Somebody's feeding him lines, as well as cheeseburgers.
Someone's feeding him, all right.
The thing is, we're all in this challenge together, and now you're trying to act, Brady's had it easy because he had a little drink mix.
No, we're not. Doug and I are actually suffering, and your fat privilege is showing when you try to claim the same suffering that we go through while sucking up sweet tea.
It's just easier, I think, probably because I'm way younger than you.
No, it's easier because you're not doing it.
Yes, I am doing it. I'm 100% doing it.
So, okay, Brady, if you drive next to somebody as they're running a marathon, it's not the same thing as you running the marathon.
We are doing the exact same thing. You're just trying to say that.
Yeah, except you have four wheels and a V8 engine. It's not the same thing, Brady.
No, you guys are so full of shit. It's more than fair if you, because I don't like tea or coffee, but I like a little flavoring in my water.
Tough shit, Brady. I don't like ginger tea.
Ginger, that is calories. What?
At no point when we started talking about this was that one of the things that you were allowed to have, and you know that.
Yeah, you said I couldn't have pop. I stopped drinking pop.
I sent you the list of what you can drink.
Where?
Where?
I'll read it again.
I did not not seen that anywhere and did not see that.
Yeah, I still think it's water.
Oh, so what you think overrides what the rules were. That's fine.
What you think is overriding the rules. We have different rules, apparently.
Yes. Me and Kaya followed a set of rules, and then you made up your own.
You are drinking ginger and crap in your water. That is way worse than a little drink mix.
What?
The things you guys are drinking is way worse.
Brady, do you know... I should have led with this. Do you know what ginger is? It's not just redheads. Do you know what it is?
It's a spice.
Yeah, but do you know what it is? It is a plant, and it has a root.
Yes,
which
is
it's not. It doesn't have calories.
Oh, it doesn't.
It does no, Brady. It's not a nice thing that people like to drink just for the taste of it. Ginger root used to be. People would use it in a ritual called figging. It used to be literal torture where they would take their slaves and they would take a piece of peeled ginger root and put it up their assholes because it would burn that bad. It was considered torture.
Isn't that what they give you for with sushi as a palate cleanser? Is that right?
It's healthy. I don't know if it's a palate cleanser for anything, but it's healthy. But if you boil something, Brady, it doesn't have... It's not like me drinking Coca-Cola vanilla or whatever the hell sweet tea you're drinking. Lipton
such an
sweet
exaggeration.
You're so fucking dense, Brady. I don't understand it.
Because I had such a disagreement with you. You're trying to say what I've been doing for the last month is nothing.
That's not what I said. I just said that you failed.
What you're saying.
No, I'm very happy and proud of you for reducing your caloric intake. It's just too bad. It's just too bad you couldn't follow the rules that were set forth, because then you could have enjoyed the celebration with us here in 4 days.
Care what you celebrate.
Okay, so somebody just posted an article.
Yes.
Okay, Brady, this is from NBC Chicago. Says they tested a bunch of water enhancers, quotes from Kraft, Jewel, Walmart, Mayer, and 4C. Says, it seems to have little toxicity in humans, but one bottle taken in short form, not as the makers intended, could give a 110-pound teenager about 5 times the recommended daily limit. So you are 3 times that pound, which means you get 15 times the recommended daily limit of whatever it is in that shit.
That was so ridiculous. That could be talking about any water packet in the world with 1,000 calories in it. This is a 0-calorie drink mix.
He could well be, this is a quote, he could well be potentially damaging himself at that kind of dose over that period of time, because we do know there is an intermediate toxicity that affects the kidneys and the liver.
Yeah, they're probably talking about a mix with like a bunch of calories and a bunch of sugar in it, like freaking Kool-Aid. This is not Kool-Aid.
You know, it's all really irrelevant. The reason why you can drink coffee and water is because they act as a diuretic. The reason why you can't add shit to your water when you're fasting is because you're supposed to be flushing your body of all bullshit for that 23 hours, and you're adding bullshit. So
I'm sitting here reading the nutrition facts. There's no bullshit in it.
Brady, fuck it, forget. You're right.
Zero calories, zero fat, zero sodium, zero carbs, zero sugars, zero alcohol, zero protein.
Good for you, Brady. Good job.
We just disagree, okay?
No, we're agreed.
No.
Good job.
Yeah.
I'm proud that you did it. Yay, Brady.
I hate you. All right, thanks.
Is
your stepmom calling you?
She said there's food in there.
Fuck.
Your stepmom is smarter than you.
It's not my stepmom.
Hey, Brady, your sugar packets are ready.
I put it in the microwave. Your marshmallow biscuits are ready too. You know the 0-calorie ones that have all the chemicals in them?
I'm at a huge
They look
disagreement
radioactive. They're glow, but they have 0 calories. You love those, right, son?
Yeah.
She just fucking
I
pours them into a trough.
I haven't been eating anything. I've been only drinking water with this little dash of chemicals. Brady,
It's not. There's no chemicals in it. There are 0 chemicals in it.
Brady, your food's ready.
Are you saying it would be harder on me if I were fasting? Like, I am fasting, but you say I'm not fasting. Or are you saying it'd be much harder if I didn't have these drink mix?
Yes,
no, Brady,
it would be much harder, Brady, if you didn't
that's
get
not what I'm saying.
sweet stuff.
Okay, I'm going to say it in words that you can understand, all right, Brady? Here's what I'm
Just
suggesting.
put it in words I'll agree with.
Here's what I'm suggesting. You continue down the path of craving, or of caving to all your cravings, as you are doing now.
I've never once had a craving for a friggin' water packet.
Because you constantly drink them.
It
Why
was
would you
just
crave
something
them?
I
You've never been
threw in.
deprived. Oh my god.
I barely drink water packets.
Okay.
Okay.
You guys are being ridiculous.
Brady, from
What?
day one, okay, from the very first day when we said, when we wake up tomorrow, we are fasting.
Yeah.
From that point up until now, how many diet drinks have you had other than during your eating hour?
Diet drink 0.
Bullshit.
0.
Right here in the message.
Oh, you mean, I thought you meant past that. I told you Monday didn't. I told you that Monday didn't count. I'm a day behind you guys. And don't say I'm 36 days behind you.
Okay, Brady.
What?
Have you ever? I mean this in a serious question. Have you ever? Have you had a girlfriend?
Not a serious one, no.
Huh?
Not a serious one, no.
Okay. Let's see. I don't. Fuck it. I don't know. You're right. Good luck. Good job with your fasting.
We're just not.
Why did you ask that? Just to fucking insult him?
No, because
Yeah,
I was going
Just to hurt my
I was going to
feelings.
try to take the conversation like, had you had a serious girlfriend and then you cheated on her, if you were to tell her, no, that don't count, it's still cheating. You can't just say I did it, but that don't count.
Okay, I see.
And what I'm wondering is how many other things. So we've established
I've already
the pop,
told you no.
We've established the sugar water.
So
what else is he doing?
It's
that he
not
doesn't-
sugar water.
What else
There's
is he
zero
doing?
sugar.
What else is he doing that he thinks
Let's-
is okay?
Nothing.
Let's tie this up in a bow. I want to follow up with you, Brady, but do you think you can keep going with this after the 30 days are over? Meaning in 3 days from now?
Easy.
Doug and I, we're thinking we're gonna probably do the 16-8 formula where we fast for 16 hours a day, and Brady, you can only drink water, unsugared,
Easy.
undiluted tea, coffee, black coffee. You're saying easy, you sure?
Easy.
No,
100% sure. 100% know this water packet has not influenced my fast at all.
I don't give a shit about the water pack. You can't have that either. Can you do that starting in 3 days also? Can you skip the water package?
I'm telling you right now, it is no way affecting me. So yeah, there would be no problem.
He sounds like somebody addicted to meth that says they're not addicted to meth. I'm telling you, I don't have a problem. I could quit it if I wanted to, but I don't want to.
Let me attack you, Kaya. There's no way you haven't been without alcohol.
Yeah, there's no way. I have not been without alcohol. In my 1 hour drinking window,
No.
Brady,
Bullshit.
I down a bottle.
I have no doubt in that. But I bet you're looking for 0-calorie alcohol.
No, there's no such thing as 0-calorie alcohol. Despite
bet you
popular
looked.
belief, alcohol has a lot of calories. So I do wait until my eating window, Brady, and then I drink as much as I want. That's my problem. I overeat and overdrink and over everything.
At least you admit it's a
I'm
problem.
saying that it is a problem, you're right. But during my fasting window, Brady, I don't mix vodka with lime and then say, this counts. This is technically, it's just a water enhancer, you know? There's still a little bit of water in this vodka and ice.
It's beyond different.
All right,
Okay.
yeah. So the next time that we record, we will be done with this, and I'm gonna stay doing the 1 meal a day thing through the week, and then on the weekends I'm gonna do the 16-8.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to witness that.
I don't know why you do that.
There we
Why
go.
would you switch on the weekends?
Well, the 1 meal a day thing isn't something that is actually meant to be done every day of your life. People typically do it for 3 times a week, and then they eat regular the rest of the days.
If I continue to lose weight, I will do it until I'm skinny.
Well, good for you. I don't give a fuck what you do after this. I assume that you're going to be snorting Krispy Kreme fucking juices. I don't care.
During my meal,
I like to take part of Oreo apart and then double stuff them and then snort them.
Just add it to water.
I blend it into my water. It's a water enhancer. Oh, Jesus.
No.
All right, Brady. Congratulations on your...
yeah, fuck you, bye.
All right, bye.